we're going to go through some appetizers and how easy some of these appetizers are to prepare, how tasty they can be with just some few simple additions that you can find at your local supermarket. I've had somebody ask me, where'd you find all these specialty items? Kroger, Walmart. How easy is that? If you just know what to look for and where to look for it, you'll find it there. And also, we're going to do an entree. We're going to do a very easy stir fry. I know everybody's had stir fry, but sometimes we get caught up in the orange glaze and the lemon glaze and all this other stuff in curry to miss the fact that if you just have really good, nice vegetables and you add something simple like salt and pepper and maybe a little lime juice and maybe some garlic and some onions, something really simple, how tasty all of a sudden everything can be just by itself. Keeping the calories down a little bit, keeping it healthy, keeping it fresh, and easy. Because I'm into convenience. I'm sure y'all are too. And then we're going to do some desserts. So if you look at your handout, I'll do a quick review. I tried to just get the majority of the recipes for you, and there'll be some things that I might change as we go because I decided something tastes better if I added this to it. So I'll let you know when that happens. And I put some extra recipes in there in case there was a sauce, dipping sauce you didn't quite like. You want to try something different. So I put a couple extras in there for you. And then for dessert, we're going to do two things. We're going to show you how easy it is to make a crisp with just using some fruit that you can buy from the freezer section. You're putting it in the ramekin, adding some sugar and stuff, and putting a little streusel on top, and baking it, and it can be done. And how easy it is to make these little fancy twirl cookies. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see that. They're really, really easy to make, but yet it makes everything look like you went to culinary school. Okay? And a little ice cream or sorbet to go with that. The other dessert is going to be a summer peach martini. Sorry guys, no alcohol. Everybody's like, oh, drinks. It's just because it's served in a martini glass. And you'll be surprised how easy this is to prepare. And some of these things can be done the day before or earlier that morning. You just make real quick, put away. And then when it's time to serve, mix it together, done. Summer rolls. Now who knows the difference between summer rolls, spring rolls, and egg rolls? No? Okay. Everybody knows what an egg roll is. We all have them. But then you see spring roll and you're like, it looks like the same to me. Actually, a spring roll is like the sister cousin of an egg roll. It has more vegetables in it, it's smaller, thinner, and it was named spring roll after the season of all the vegetables that came into season at that time. And that's what it's called that. If you have the fatter version, that's the egg roll. Summer rolls are made from rice paper.
Yes.
Okay? And it's easy to get confused between what is a spring roll wrapper and a wonton wrapper and an egg and a rice wrapper. If it looks like this, it's typically known as rice paper. And this is something you don't have to cook. I like that idea. Something easy that you can prepare for an appetizer at the last minute, because these will stay on your shelf forever. And then all you have to do is put in a little bit of water, put it on the surface, put your fresh vegetables in there. You don't even have to cook the filling if you don't want to. Roll it up, serve it with a little soy sauce and hot mustard, done.
Nice.
Isn't that nice?
That is.
All right.
Tell them where they get it.
I got this at Kroger. Believe it or not. There's a little, they have an Asian section, but they also have that space where the gentleman he's the Japanese sushi chef. And there's some little specialty items there, and that's where I got this.
And there are a lot of Asian food stores.
Just because they're used for spring rolls doesn't mean that's all you can use them for. You can use them for so many different things. You can even cut it up and fry it and then put some cinnamon and sugar on it and use it as a little garnish on a dessert or a little, little snack. Not too many, of course, but but you can put little fillings in there, leftovers that you've had. You can put a little filling in there, fry it up. You got yourself an appetizer or a snack for the next day. Or even if you put a couple of different appetizers together, all of a sudden you have an entree. See? One of the things that we learn in culinary school and in the kitchen is how to be resourceful and how not to waste things. And use everything that you possibly can. Do you know how those little cake truffles came about? Because in the pastry kitchen, when we had those cake trimmings, I know it looked like we ate it all, but what we really did is that we put them all in a little container in the refrigerator, along with some icing and pastry cream and sometimes a little rum. And then we would roll that up and then roll it in chocolate and dust it with cocoa powder and stuff. And that's how that came. Ginger. Who knows what the Thai word for ginger, or the different version of ginger for Thailand is? It's called galangal. And it actually is a Kroger, believe it or not. It looks very similar to this. It has a slightly darker color, a little more slender, but it's also a ginger. It's just a Thai ginger. So if you ever see that in an Asian recipe, ginger. It's all good. All right. Of course, we got basil, cilantro, which is also called Chinese parsley. So if you see that in a recipe, that's cilantro. This is noodles. Rice noodles. Okay. You can do different things with this. You can use this in a stir fry also, or you can do what I did, and all you have to do is soak it in water. Okay, so let's do summer rolls. This is nothing but water here. Okay. Okay. And you just place it in the water like so. See, it's still hot. Sorry, then it's soft or sweet. You don't want to overstuff these though, because then they will fall apart on you. Okay, and they will rip as you try to use them. And take some cucumber. I prefer seedless. That's just my preference. But you can use whatever cucumber you like. And I'm going to use a variety of sprouts. I like sprouts. I've got some broccoli salad sprouts. I've got some daikon. And then I have some onion, because I like those. Now, the good thing about summer rolls is that you can take pretty much any fresh vegetable, and you can almost make it look like fruit. You can take like a leftover crab salad, put a little cucumber and a little mango. And you've made something really fancy, and you've really impressed your friends. You know, you want it thin or thick, it doesn't matter. Julienne is simply a style of cutting. Julienne. Did I just make it easier? This is also a julienne. See, there's no difference in whether it's a big julienne or a small julienne. It's just that you have these long strips. Okay. Sprouts. Daikon. Sea salt, freshly ground, is a must-have. Just a little bit. Freshly ground pepper, also a must-have in the kitchen. Very light. And put a little bit of chopped green onion, or scallions, as some people call it. That's usually the white part of it. And don't be afraid to look up on the internet if there's something you're not sure about. You know, why is this scallions? Why is that green onion? And you know, what's all the difference? Look it up. There's so much wonderful information out there. It makes it a little bit easier to demystify these recipes. That's what's wonderful about a lot of Asian cooking is that you do whatever you want with it, really. And it fuses so well with a lot of other global cuisines. It goes really well with Indian food because a lot of Indian food is vegetarian. And they love Asian food because it has a lot of that freshness to it, and it's very vibrant and bright and easy to prepare. Okay, good. And so the same thing with these rice. Just roll it like a burrito. Fold it over. So it sticks all by itself without having to add anything.
It's really good.
All right. We'll do a couple more. Who wants to volunteer to do one? Anyone? I do. We're getting all that, the ball rolling on that. Oh, but she's already committed. She said, yes, I want to do it. There you go. They're usually 2 or 3 cucumbers for this size. Size is good unless you cut them small.
Am I going this way or that way? I guess it doesn't really matter, does it?
It's usually a little bit better to go this way.
Oh.
Yeah. So that you can see the greens. One of the things that's also a little trick, and as simple as it may be, really is a dramatic look, is that instead of cutting things like this, cut them like this. It's what they call cutting on the bias or at an angle. But if you want to be formal, cutting on the bias. So if you see that, that's what that means. Cut at an angle.
Tricia, how did you get the ends to stick in or whatever?
Don't be afraid to use it. She likes them fast.
I do.
Okay, now show the class.
All right.
Make it a diamond shape. Now you could probably use some water, but I really want this to stick, so I'm going to do a little egg on the edges, making sure you put a little extra at the tip of the diamond, okay? So that way it really sticks, so when you're frying it doesn't come open and then you have this mess and the oil's going. It's very, very simple. I like things simple, but I like things to taste great. That's my philosophy in cooking, and that is evident in a lot of the baked goods that I do as well, is keep it simple, but just make it taste awesome. That's all you really need to do. This is shredded Napa cabbage, okay? Which usually you can buy already done. Isn't that wonderful? You can buy these shredded carrots already done. That's also wonderful. And then we're going to put some bell pepper in here. I try to use a smaller pieces though. Some green onion. A little more. Some salt. A little bit more on the salt. It's sea salt, but you want to be able to have the cabbage hold its structure a little bit more, and the salt will help do that. Pepper. Oil. Peanut oil has the highest burning point out of all the oils that you use in your household. So use a lot in Asian cooking because they use high heat, because they're trying to preserve some of the nutrients in the vegetables, so they cook very quickly. And that's why you see how they cut things in uniform motion so that things cook at the same time. That's perfect. Very little. I'm using a non-stick pan. This is mostly to help give flavor to the dish. And so, what did I do? I just did red bell peppers, some carrots and some cabbage, and some green onion and salt and pepper, right? Was that pretty easy so far? Pretty easy, okay. You're gonna flip it. All I did to test it is I put a drop of water. Just a little bit of water will tell me at what point if it's ready. If it sizzles, it's ready. Oh, got my mushrooms. Some shiitakes, but plain mushrooms work just as well. Shiitakes just have a really nice earthy flavor, and it's something that I'm accustomed to. I'm stirring that up, getting that peanut oil kind of around everything. Turn it up a little bit more. And as it's about 3/4 done, I'm going to add a little soy sauce, and that's done. That's a filling. And now, I'm just going to clean my pan. Get ready, I'm going to make some. I'm going to do it in small amounts. Now what she's doing, she's taking the filling and she's putting some on this spring roll wrapper. You don't want a lot. I'm going to cut these a little bit smaller so that she doesn't have a hard time. Because I want the skinnier spring roll. I'm going to just chop these up a little smaller.
Nice.
After you do that, we'll let it. That's it. wants to come up and try to make some spring rolls. So think about it. That smells good. So if you buy everything already pre-cut, you got it made. Okay, I've got my water at full boil. Awesome. A little hot. I'm going to go ahead and get my oil started, get it hot, so that when the spring rolls are done, this doesn't take too long. There's not a lot of oil in here either. There's like maybe a quart of oil. Take. Hey, probably $8, $10 in a nice restaurant. Right? It didn't cost nearly that much at all. I think the most expensive part is the lavash, but if you can learn how to make it at home, it's really easy. And that's another class.
We'll be there.
All right, just voila. That I can't scratch Teflon. Somebody after me, what we call caramelized. Very good. Yeah. The other one? The next one? Oh, all right. All I'm doing is I'm caramelizing the bottom. Okay? See? Lightly brown. So you don't want your high heat too much. It's more like medium to low heat. Okay? But you don't want it in there so long that it soaks up the oil. Browning? Yeah.
Usually because of the sugars and all that.
Yeah, the term comes from sugar because there's a little bit of sugar naturally occurring in most foods anyway. So that's where the term came from, caramel. What I told you what was in the water? Garlic and salt. Was that hard? No. But the steam is going to infuse so much wonderful flavor into the dumplings. Where you can do broccoli, just some fresh broccoli. You can do shrimp. And the shrimp, without having to add anything else to it, is going to have this nice subtle flavor from the garlic and the sea salt. So they're using that very simple formula of doing some garlic and some sea salt and water. If you want to steam something, it's going to bring some flavor in. A lot of times we have to add a lot of salt to our vegetables to get them to taste good, right? Well, doing it this way, you're adding the flavor of the salt to it without actually adding the additional sodium. Isn't that nice? So if you want to add a little something more, maybe add some herb to it or something. That will increase the flavor of the salt without actually adding additional sodium. Because the salt is in the water, so it's actually permeating all the food that's in there using steam to cook it and flavor it at the same time. Does that sound ready? Now you still have to be careful when you do it because it is hot, okay? So I want you to try this at home, but just be careful. Cover this. So see how quickly she got them in and out? So, and if you were to take a look and see cautiously, they lightly brown. They don't turn dark brown like what you're accustomed to when you're frying. It's a light brown. By the time you take them out of the oil and into there, they're already brown. Okay, so be careful about not overdoing them. Remember how thin that paper, the spring roll wrapper is. So, the syrup we're going to do is going to be equal parts sugar and equal parts water, because we want it to be a little on the thicker side, because we're going to use it to coat our peaches and pluots. Who knows what pluots are? They're like plums, little baby plums. They're darker, they're sweet. They're called pluots. So we're going to take, and they're called like stone, they're from the stone fruit family, so that's why I paired those together. We're going to take a cup of sugar.
Is this recipe in here?
It should be. If not, cup of sugar, let's go ahead and put this water in. When you cut your citrus for something like this, you only want to cut the colored part and not the white. The white will impart too much bitterness into whatever it is that you're making. And what do you do with the rest of it? You make that dipping sauce. The juice. Okay, no waste. Okay, I'm just cutting a piece of fresh ginger. You don't want to go less than that. Go about half that. You ready for this big one? That's it. You just crush it so that you can release all the oils and flavors that are in there. And then the vanilla bean. It's almost ready already. Now this isn't a very high-grade cinnamon sticks. They're also pretty expensive. That's why I use 2 of them, so I can get the flavor out of it. Once it comes to a boil, that's it, you're done. And then you refrigerate it with everything still in it, and you can use it to put in your tea or your water if you want to sweeten it, or you can use it to coat some fruit for a little dessert or snack. $10 for this thing.
Oh my God.
Or every.
Can you reuse it?
Yes. Depending on what you're using it in. If you're using it in a custard, I'd say no. If you're using it in a syrup or anything, you can still hold on to this and you can use it. A little bit, like something like this, will go a long way. In fact, how much I'm using for this recipe? And you'll see why in a minute, because I will pass this around. I'm splitting it, the skin, and inside are all these teeny little seeds. You know when you buy the vanilla bean ice cream, those little black things that look like dirt? That's the seed of the vanilla bean. It's not dirt, it's the most wonderful thing.
That ice cream is more expensive than the regular vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Now, why wouldn't you use extract? Is there a richness or a...
You can use extract for this recipe if you wish. Just use a good quality one, and I wouldn't use it until after this is cooked. You don't want to evaporate too much of the flavor of the vanilla. Okay? Because usually vanillas have an alcohol content, which will burn out. I'm taking it upside down. Okay, this top part is the top. You gotta work quickly.
I was wondering where she put the bottle. Now I know.
What's the rice and wine vinegar?
Wow. Oh, wow, that's very nice.
Easy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hot. One has mango chunks, and I just let it thaw out. When I first made these, I did them when they were a little bit frozen for simplicity, but we put too much fruit in there, so it kind of now has what they call the rustic look. Really, it was real, it wasn't plastic.
Does it stay the same with the fresh mangoes?
Yes. You can do fresh fruit, and I was thinking of doing that as well, but I was kind of thinking of convenience of things that you can do any time of the year. So you want to find some fruit seasonal, it's fine. But the whole thing is I'm going to show you how easy it is.
Just one palette.
Yeah, you can even go a little bit less. The purpose of this mostly is texture and flavor.
Just to decide how long your ice cream.
Very good. Very good. I like a little nutmeg too.
Wow.
So you know how a lot of other recipes, you gotta mix them together in a bowl and this and that and the other thing? This is easier. This is just instant oatmeal, rolled oats if you like. This is going to add a diversity to it that's going to add a little crunch. It's also going to soak up any of the liquids. Huh? You can put some almonds on it. This is some streusel. There's a streusel recipe in your handout. This is streusel. There's a streusel recipe in your handout.
What is it made of? Is it coconut?
And it's something you can make ahead that will last for several weeks in a container, okay? Washed. I'm going to have her peel this. I mean, do you know how to cut it? Some people don't even know how to cut it because these days everything's frozen, so they... I'm just taking the knife and I'm putting it in the spaces. And you just want what they call the crowns, this good green stuff at the end. Now, do you know if there's anything that can be done with the trunk?
Compost.
That's what my daughter eats.
You can steam it, you can eat it. Do you know what we use in culinary school and in the kitchen?
Soup.
We use this to make broccoli soup. Yes. Cream of broccoli soup.
Wow.
No waste. There's a lot of flavor and nutrition in this. It's just not good prepared in these fashions. But good is when you make it in a soup. So cream of broccoli soup, you can use that for. You can also use it to make like a little stock or something. You add it to that. Give it a little different flavor.
You chop it up, blend it, or put it in
For
one of
the-
those machines?
You can. You can. All right. Okay, so we have some baby bok choy. Okay. Some broccoli. Some carrots. And it doesn't have to look bland. You can. Again, on the bias. Okay. And it's an easy way to do it. Well, I say that, but it may not be for everybody.
I like my vegetables bias.
So far, we've got some good color going on.
Oh, you like theirs? Or Julian, do you know?
Now, I have a really good recipe in there that adds a lot of lime juice and ginger, things of that nature. So I'm going to add a little lime juice. I got some garlic. Also, that I'm going to be working with some onion, some water chestnuts. This is a little big for me to cut, so I'm going to cut it down the middle. I better get my big knife out for this. I have a 14-inch. There we go. That one's a half.
So is it just by practice that you learn which cooks faster than the others?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you know, the thicker a vegetable is, oftentimes, you know it'll take a little longer. There are some vegetables that don't act according to those laws of physics, but most commonly that will be the case. The more dense a vegetable is, the longer it'll take to cook.
Yeah, oh, God. Fish broth, like,
Smaller, they won't take as long to cook. And you ever have like on the border where you get the fajita and your bell peppers are really soft and soggy? Isn't that unpleasant?
Yeah.
So when you get it and it's nice and crisp and firm and it's glistening, it's wonderful. So it's the same thing. I'm just putting a little bit of garlic in. Turn in my vegetables. And I'm going to add soy sauce. I'm not adding my mushrooms yet. Mushrooms are made a lot of water, and they will become very soggy very quickly, so I don't want to do this too early. I'm getting some nice color of that parsnip. A little bit of mushroom. How's that smell? Pretty good so far? Very good. And what seasoning have I put in there? Soy sauce. Soy sauce. That was it. That's all I've done so far. I'm going to need one of those plates, Mom, please.
You don't put garlic in there?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I snuck it in there.
Okay.
How's that look? Looks pretty good. It's going to help continue by way of stir frying and steaming the vegetables, especially the thicker ones. I'm putting some ginger in now. You read my mind.
Wow. You got it. Bring it on. Bring it on.
You might have a challenge you didn't know about.
I think you got a year and a half gone. Yep, they were too. They'll probably pass.
We got some nice caramelization going, some nice flavors in there, very simple. I didn't even have to add the lime, but you can certainly take some of the lime juice. Squeeze it over that. So go ahead and set it down here. Right.
You backslid.
So I'm just taking what was left over in the pan to finish off the bok choy. I like to do the bok choy separately so that I can preserve how it looks. So pretty. So you can use it as part of the dish, or you can use it as a garnish. Okay.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Looks like a garden.
We'll come to your restaurant.
There you go. A little bit of sear, and then I used a little bit of the center. I kept it together and just tossed a little bit so that it can be used as part of the garnish. So you can do family style with the Chinese cooking or Asian cooking, or you can do individual plates. I'm going to put 2 in here. Pepper. Sea salt. That's it. Wow. That's it. That's it. That's the color. That's her like favorite thing I make, and I told her I know you put my it's tricky with my things.
I like it because you can watch
You need to know fish good. You can put them in the same place.
All right. What do you think?
Good.
It's gonna be a peachy day. Yes, that's how you get it. You twist it after you cut it. See with the avocado. I don't know if you tell me that. But it made me feel like I was sweating. Bite-sized little wedges.
We tried to cook. It is good. Not even a sprout. It's like.
Okay, so now we're gonna get ready to pour the syrup in here and toss it.
Hey, Dad, I just
using
drank
a
a
spoon,
spoon.
we're gonna mix our tank.
Get the, what it is.
Have you been
Yeah,
have you been to
I know this is
Peach
your
Mart?
cooking class, thank you.
I have heard of it, several people have told me, I have not had the opportunity.
It's
Yeah, I heard it was amazing.
It's a great store. It's a big Korean restaurant, but they also have other foods as well.
Yeah.
Because we just moved here from Korea, we were over there for 2.5 years, so I was looking for some produce there than any of those stores I found here so far.
Yeah, the produce section's really getting kind of
And
sad.
H Mart,
Oh, yeah.
it's the big Korean mart. But they have a lot of other Asian food as well, but their produce section's great.
What cracked us up?
But it's amazing. You should
Oh,
take me for a tour.
And that Bush
What's the
Highway.
road it's on?
I just poured
It's
some
on
syrup in there.
Old Denton
I
Road
cut the
and,
fruit.
and that
Then
George
George
Bush,
Bush.
yeah, Old
George
George
Bush.
Bush Road and George Bush. And
The
it's a
simple syrup.
super H Mart. It's huge.
It's called
And some guac.
Not sweet at all. Mozart, that's inside, go outside.
Or you can line it with strawberries, or you can line it with mango or something, have the mango draped over the side. You know, there's a lot of things you can do. It's all about the presentation of it, you know. The quality, you put all this work into the making the food delicious and healthy, and then you just, there it is. Take a couple extra minutes to kind of give it a little flair. Wow, you know, that's amazing. All right, so you're gonna
Have no calories.
I believe that's
see how it just sits there? Nice.
Good job, Dad.
It's a tool.
And then she's getting a scoop of ice cream. And again, you know, you have like those big scoops and stuff, you don't have to. You have this little bitty scoop. Because you want to, you're full from the entree and the wonderful appetizers you had. You know, I know you want to save them for dessert, but this will do just fine. It'll complement a nice, healthy meal. Just getting the ice cream. I'll give her the scoop and I'll just eat the ice cream.
Yeah.
Go ahead, a little scoop.
That's very pretty.
Oh, that's nice. Wow.
No, it's so pretty. All right.
What are you sprinkling on them?
I just sprinkled a little nutmeg. The nutmeg will give a little bit of aromatherapy. And it
Oh,
also turns a white plate to a decorated plate now.
nice.
Okay? You can do the same thing with cocoa. If you want. If you have a dark plate, you can do the same thing with powdered sugar. All right. Any questions?